Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation of South Africa's YouTube channel. Time flies because it's SMA Awareness Month again, getting warmer, so that always coincides. Um, and to commemorate SMA Awareness Month, we're speaking to Conrad Jacobs today. He's living with SMA. Conrad, thank you so much for your time and welcome.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Let's kick off. I always start with the beginning. It always starts with the diagnosis. So, in
Yeah.
your case, when did you realize you've had something, and when did you realize that you have SMA and were diagnosed? Has it been a long time?
Well, it wasn't me that realized it. It was my parents. So I think it was the age of 3. They realized that something is not what it should be. So they took me for tests at that at HF Verwoerd Hospital those years. And the diagnosis that time was muscular dystrophy. But in the report, we still have the report. You can say they're not sure. The technology at that stage. I mean, that was the year 1981, so the technology wasn't that great. So my dad immediately said it's not dystrophy. So at school, the one physio told me it's atrophy. It's definitely not dystrophy. So then, when my wife and myself met, we did genetic tests, and they said it is SMA type 3. So conclusive. But I always knew now I'm the other child apart from my siblings. So yeah, it is a journey, but it started way back.
Yeah. What can you tell us about SMA? I have interviewed, I think, two people already with SMA, and it seems to be very different so each person is quite different. So in your case, what can you tell us about SMA and the progression?
Yeah, the progression you can feel it. There is, you can. It starts from the extremities. The when I was in high school, I could walk with crutches, and then uh, varsity, I had the wheelchair, and with time it has gotten worse. But the thing is, I'm not sitting still. You can't. You have to be active. If you lay on bed all day, you're gonna lose that muscle mass, and that is why everybody always asks me, when you get an electric wheelchair, but I don't want it because you get exercise in the arms, and otherwise you're gonna lose that, and then you're gonna have big trouble.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I'm sitting in a manual wheelchair right now in my
Yeah,
house, and it's the only way or the only place that I use a manual wheelchair. I, I go out because I've at my progression now, it's not it, I used to just do the manual wheelchair, but with
yeah,
my specific disease and my progression,
yeah.
I combine it. And I understand exactly what you're saying because I don't want to use an electric wheelchair in my house because it gives me exercise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the electric chairs are heavy, so you're gonna have to adapt your car,
Yeah.
to carry this. What is it, 50 kilogram thing around? So it's not just for let's get an electric wheelchair, but no, at this stage I don't want that.
Yeah, I know
Um,
you only, I mean, you have to take it as it comes. If it gets to that point, that's fine. But no,
yeah,
I agree with you. So how other than that, I mean, you have your wheelchair, and that is a huge thing to get used to. I've also been through that. How
yeah.
does it impact your life otherwise? Um, I mean, obviously, it's a huge question to ask, but if just on the top of your head, the most important things that it impacts you, what are those things?
So when we bought the house, our first house, steps everywhere. Houses are the most incompatible with steps everywhere. So if someone invites us over, then I always sometimes I send my wife to go do a recce for us just to see how accessible it is. But so this first house of us, we adapted it. We put in a nice big wooden ramp, So and you can. We went in to see the bathrooms also because um, we had a test. So I have to go into the bathroom and do a 360 in the bathroom to see if it's big enough for me. So luckily that house was suitable for me. And we moved to this house. The agents take you to all these awful places, steps in the middle of the house, and then it's a no automatically. So luckily this house we only had to build one small ramp from the garage into the house. The bathrooms were perfect for me. Luckily I'm not that dependent on these pipes and things. The paraplegic guys they use. But I think in future we're gonna have to adapt a few things to make it more easy for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I also had the problem of the difference between living in sectional title, because I live in a sectional title place, and I had to adapt it, and it is a massive exercise to get the
Yeah,
approvals.
the
Yeah, the approvals from and the municipality
yeah,
as well. Not
yeah, yeah.
just the body corporate, the municipality. I had building
The
plans. It was a massive thing.
yeah. The
So
ramps, the ramps we built, they said it cannot be a permanent structure. So that's why it's a wooden deck.
yeah, yeah,
Like the owner after us, if they want to take it off, they can easily, which
yes,
would be silly because it 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 made such a nice stoop for us. So the
yes.
second owner would be stupid to remove it.
To remove it. Yeah, and I mean, bathrooms. Last year I had to adapt my bathroom to make it a rolling shower.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, you also have to have approval from the body corporate, even if it's inside, because I moved pipes. In other words, the
Oh,
plumbing pipes, and so you are
yeah.
impacting on the common property. I still haven't
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten those approvals, and so I need to go through
Yeah.
the process and get those approvals. So it's wherever you go, you're going to have a problem
Yeah.
with the adapting, and the transferring becomes a problem from my point of view.
Yeah. Yeah.
The latest thing that I had to get was a specific bed that adjusted or that adjusts so that I can transfer. Um, and yeah, it just it's a constant adapting,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah.
my
It's a
case.
battle. It tests the perseverance. Tests your
Yes, but
but
we make
luckily
plans. We make plans.
luckily the expenditure you have in your bathroom you can claim back from tax.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah,
That's
you can
that's
plan. Yeah,
that's one of the few advantages we have.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Of
on
course.
voting day you can skip the queue.
Yes, but I always forget. There's been 3 years now, or the three times now that I forget to phone them, and then I'm off here in my electric chair, and I have to go and vote there. So that next year, I am going to definitely not forget. I'm going to contact them. Conrad, I just want to ask as well. I mean, it is difficult to deal with all these things, and we make plans.
Yeah,
As far as you can, as far as your finances take you.
yeah.
But how do you deal with with these challenges? Is there a specific thing that you can, some wisdom that you can give, or things that you do, or what is important in your life? How do you deal with it? If it's family or your support structures, how do you do
Yeah. I don't know how I do it sometimes.
it?
Um,
We have no
because
choice.
no, I mean, I was sitting today waiting for this specific question,
Yeah,
and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
yeah,
You can't go and sit on a whoopee and cry and hope everybody is gonna say shame, poor fellow. It's not working that way. The life is tough. You're just gonna have to make the best of a bad case. There is no other way.
no,
My mother, when I was a small child, they said to me, "You are going to go to school. You are going to go to university, and you are going to work. There is no special treatment when when the pak word gegee, the scolding. I was moored the same way as the other children. My mother have a sambok. She bliksemtas. So there was no special children. Oh, shame, poor fellow. No, you
yeah.
can just gonna
Back
have
in those
to.
days, just for those who are watching, back in those days, that's what at school. That's what happened when you were naughty,
Yeah,
and at home. It was
yeah,
actually now it's totally different, but that's what happened. And
yeah,
I was speaking to someone the other day. Is I got very good at testing the teachers. You know which teacher you can test the limits
yeah,
of, and you know where you can go and how hard they hit you.
yeah.
But it just
I think
shows you, yeah, it
I
just
think
shows you.
I think I was a standard five, and the English teacher bliksemed me, and but I'm sure I earned that. So
Yeah, no special treatment for the disabled
no,
back then.
no, no,
um, yeah, and I just there is one of the members that I know quite well at the MDFSA, Andrew has spoken a lot about this, and that is the treatment options that are now coming to the fore for SMA. And
yeah,
I just wanted to get your view on it because it's something that's for us living with limb girdle. We are so far away from any treatment at the moment. It's something that we don't really discuss in our groups
yeah.
specifically. What is your view on that? And let's just hear what your view is on this before I ask you a few
Mhm.
follow-up questions.
Now I know there is treatment for SMA, but as far as I know, it is extremely expensive. It is like I might be wrong, but it's like $70,000 a month or something. It's just, but I mean, why go for treatment? I mean, I'm 45. What what's it gonna help? So
Yeah,
no, to rather enjoy life as it is. Um,
yes.
no, it's
But
but
what would you say
maybe at a younger age,
at a
maybe
younger
yes, but for that price, no,
what would you
it's not possible.
what would you say can be done by government and by maybe medical aids to do you think there's something that can be done to make it cheaper or to
I
help
don't think so. They they don't even want to cover my chair in full, so there's just no way they're gonna uh, treat that, which is sad. But I mean,
uh,
at my age, I don't even bother. But say you know, below the age of 5, while you still have a long road before you.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but
I,
at that cost, I don't think so.
that makes sense. Yeah. But exercises, are there things that you do to keep you going, other than medical treatments?
I have some weights. There's my weight, which hasn't been used in a while. Which after work, then I
Yeah.
uh, stretch a bit and exercise the tummy muscles and the arms and the
Yes.
buttocks. Because if you're gonna lose the buttocks, you're gonna be in trouble.
That's correct.
And I just stay busy and climb in the car and climb out of the car. That in itself is exercise. Walking through a mall, mainland, my arms were burning the other day, but it's good exercise. So, but there's not specifics. I mean, I haven't been to a physio in years,
Yeah.
but ugh, and luckily I am blessed with good health in general. The worst
Yeah,
I have is maybe sinusitis, but the rest,
that helps. And of course, the medical aids don't pay for physiotherapy, right?
mm,
They just, from my experience, they've just
no,
ignored me. They just don't want to approve it as a PMB. You can get it as part of your other benefits, but then you have to be on the highest medical aid
yeah,
scheme option, which not
no,
everyone can afford. And so you end up
mm,
paying for that anyway. And what happens is not all people don't have that money, and then they stop doing the physiotherapy in any event.
yeah,
So that's where we are different from let's say overseas, where everything is covered. I mean, in some countries they
yeah,
give you a car and they give you all the adaptations, and you don't have to pay for it.
mm, yeah,
Unfortunately, here we have to fend for ourselves, which is a bit of
yeah,
a problem.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and just what advice can you give to anyone that has SMA and that's struggling, um, to cope with this? What is the best advice? You have touched on that, just to that you have to continue, but is there any lessons that you can give to and not only persons with SMA,
yeah,
other persons who are living with this disease,
yeah.
or
I
this kind
think,
of.
yeah, I think you're in charge of your own destiny. You must just keep soldiering on. Luckily, I I have met my wife 10 years ago, and she plays a big role in my life. So I have her as my support. It's the advice I can give someone is get a mate to help you, friends, family, anybody. You're not you're not supposed to be alone in this thing. I mean, it's not your fault. You are in a situation you are. I mean, it's shit happens.
Yeah.
But I'm so overly blessed. Um, out of my socks, I've a wife. I have a decent job with the most awesome employer that sort of understand what I'm going through. Flexi hours and work from home. A
Yes.
few years ago, that didn't exist, but
Yes.
somehow I find myself in this awesome work from home job. So now the advice for someone that does it is just keep going.
So
Don't
you had a good
don't give up.
experience with finding employment. I remember
Also
myself.
bad experiences.
Did you also? Because I
Yeah,
also had, before I had my good experience, when I had employment. I'm now medically retired, but I
yeah,
worked for a wonderful company for more than 13 years. Um, but before that, I had horrible experiences. So I think that in South Africa, it's not very easy for disabled persons to find that caring job that helps you get a career where you can.
no.
Yeah. How did you navigate through that? That would be interesting to find out.
My first few jobs was not the best. There's one that stood out that ended at the CCMI. So I mean that was a horrible experience. But then I found something. I was 6 years at that company. So they changed the bathrooms for me. They added a ramp, two ramps, that company. So they were really accommodating. And I mean hats off to them. So I left that company and then I found this company, and you know in the interview you play out the open cards of them. You say, this is a situation. It doesn't affect me working my 8 hours, but and then I had to go for an interview at this company, Magna BC, in 2012. So
Yes,
that was way before COVID. Work from home was not a thing. And the company's building is not accessible at all.
yes,
So, I called off the interview 2012, life goes on. So 2021, I on my offers and profile, because I'm in IT, so we find out jobs for offers in. So in a profile, you say you want to work remotely. And then this company, the same company, approached me, but we don't know one another. And I started to work for them June 2021, fully remote. Some other people in the company are also remote, working from wherever. So that is a blessing. I sometimes have to pinch myself that that actually happened. So no, there was this is a very nice company,
yes.
but you first have to kiss a few frogs before you kiss the
Yeah,
the prince.
yeah. I think what
But
I'm getting from you and what I take away is just persevere and continue, and you will find that
yeah,
situation. You will find, uh, a wife. You'll find a
yeah,
career that you can continue
yeah.
in, enjoy.
I think there's nothing wrong with my brain. There's
Yeah.
no excuse for me to not do what I do. So you know, when when I was at university, I was University of Pretoria.
Oh, yes.
So it was
Also,
all
I'm also an
old
old techie.
buildings.
I'm also an old techie. I know those
Uh,
buildings.
Moves a lot of
Yeah.
steps. I
Yes.
was a lot thinner then, so I can clearly remember the one time I had to write exam in the chemie
Yeah.
gebouw, and that was like 30, 40 steps up. The one
Yeah.
guy just took me. I I have never had the case where someone didn't want to help me. They always, few guys, two at the front, two at the back. There we go. Inside the GME buildings. What made university tough for me was the people that studied with me, they didn't really have those issues. I had to find out, okay, so we're writing this test in that building. So that building is not uh, accessible. So sometimes I had to write in the lecturer's office. They they just accommodated me without asking questions. Some of the lecturers photostat me some notes, so I don't have to write. So I can say in general, I had a or I'm having a great experience, but it's what you made it. No one is going to make it easier for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Conrad.
But
Yeah.
I just want to say with my employer, so they give you the opportunity to work remotely. But that's a responsibility you're going to have to take upon yourself to pull your weight. You know, you can't just now sit at home and just bump the mouse every few minutes. You're going to have to pull your weight. But luckily in IT, you can easily see if someone is not, you know, pulling their weight. So no, I can't stop counting my blessings on
Yeah,
a daily basis.
that's great. I mean, you've given us so much to think about, Robert, and for the members, a lot of gems, pearls of wisdom. So
Yeah.
I thank you for that, and I think that's all we have time for. But is there anything else that you can think of that you can share with us?
Mm. So I started my primary school in Laerskool Elaris Park. It was a horrible experience. They didn't cater for me at all. So halfway through that year, my mother said, must go. So I went to Nieuwe School, which is it's a school on one level, specially catering for special needs.
Yes.
So there I was up until standard 5, but they didn't have a university exemption. So I had to choose where I want to go next. So I went to Kimberley. There's a school, Elizabeth Conrad School. Fantastic school. So they have the university exemption, and I went to hostel courses and up until matric, and then after matric I went to varsity for 4 years, BSc computer science, and the rest just happened.
Well, thank you so much. I really am. I am learning myself as well again. Every time I do
Yeah,
interviews, I learn again. I get um, some more advice for myself, but not only for myself, for all the members out there. And that's actually why we're doing this. So thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you so much,
No,
bro.
it's a good initiative.
Thanks.
I was happy to speak to you guys.
No, thanks. We should do it again. Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Marinus.